Hello, good morning to you. Good morning to you. How are you out there? A very good morning to you. This this system this morning has got its mind of its own. You're sort of thinking, why is that? Well, I pressed the button and the music came up. Normally, I'll do a chit chat first. So there we go. Right. Okay. I am just okay. Right. Anyway, so we are on August the 19th. Crikey, where's this season going? Almost coming to the end of Leo and coming into Virgo. Just round the corner, we can just see Virgo just round the corner. So Virgo's there going, yay! You Leo's there going, but what happened? Well, wasn't Leo a funny season? Very strange season, and people express themselves very unusually. And maybe you found this too. You found this experience too, where life sometimes felt like it's going through very strange times. And yes, had loads of people writing in, talking with them, and different things going on this year, which has been quite bizarre through this Leo time. And I think for a lot of us here, we've actually found that the Lion's Gate, which opened up earlier on this month in the Leo sign there, was where this energy came in and transformed everything and made us feel like, whoa, some people went flying up into the air and everything was like fantastic. Other people came crashing down. And all sorts of mixed energies out there. So we're going to be talking about that this morning, see where we're going. But we've also just had a new moon. I was just talking to Guillermo earlier, and she said, yes, it's 4 o'clock this morning. So, okay, yes, I was still in a land of Zeds at that time. I was still had those little clouds of dreams going on somewhere around that time of the morning. Lovely to see so many of you lovely people this morning. And Susanna, lovely to see you. Good morning. And that's interesting. Queer Lee, the funniest thing was I was just thinking about you this morning. Now, isn't that funny? Thinking, I haven't seen you for ages. And there you are. You pop up like magic. Like magic. It's fantastic, isn't it? Okay, so during the show this morning, this is what we'd like you guys to go and do. If you could do this, is share the show. Well, good morning to you all. It's lovely to see lovely new people on the show. Always is, always is. And even Sandra says, hi Phil, morning with a little kiss. Isn't that nice? Mwah. Little kiss back. And oh dear, Eleni, who's put a question this morning, it says, hi Phil and Deborah, and everyone, not feeling very well this morning. In bed, not feeling too good, but will brighten by morning with your show. Of course it does. It's tonic. It's medicine. It's just what you need. Even when you're supposed to be at work, like for instance, maybe you're working at a shop somewhere doing something, or maybe even you're doing the shopping. Just stop. Just stop. Just get your iPad out, switch on this, put your earphones in, and just watch the show and engage with the nuttiness, the astrological outlooks, the chat, the banter, everything we get up to. Happy? Good. Anyway, so yes, please share the show. Please like it. Please, if you want to also go onto YouTube, you can subscribe to the show. It's exactly the same as this, but it's on YouTube as well. I know a lot of you American people out there like to watch YouTube, do it on YouTube rather than other places there. And this is hilarious. Priya Lee says, I know. She hasn't seen us such a long time. She says she pushed the wrong button. I don't think she meant to come on, but that was just too funny. That's just too funny. I love it when things like this. And Ellie says, no, it's coffee and hot lemon drinks. No coffee, honey and hot lemon. Well, there you go. We got coffee this morning, and good morning to you. Right, come on now. So without further ado, I think with time, we popped down the road to see an extraordinary lady who, I believe she is born under the stars. Maybe the sign of Capricorn was strong. Maybe she's a rising sign of Scorpio. But she's there, glistening and twinkling away, there down in Javier. We're here to talk about the moon. And little old Eleni there, who's not feeling very well, would like to know a few things about kiss the moon. What does all this mean? Anyway, even Val says good morning. Good morning, Val, from in Bedfordshire. So here we go. Without further ado, let's get the show rolling and let's invite our good friend Guillermo on the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Phil. Good morning, everybody. Got your coffees?
Hey, we have a red mug, a brick red mug this morning. Normally you have the light blue one or something else. Very nice too. Hey, coffee, always a good
Always a
idea.
good idea.
Then I always got USA, 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 which is where you've also lived as well in the past, I think, haven't you?
Yes, I
Which part of
have.
America were you in?
In Miami and San Francisco.
Miami and San Francisco. That's the east and the west. The east and the west.
The East and West.
Yes,
Yep,
I've
when I was a kid. Hence
ah
the English.
hence
Because in
English.
case the viewers don't know, I'm actually Spanish. It's Spanish is my first language. It's my mother tongue. But my English, well, I learned it when I was a kid in America. So
That's your father tongue. Maybe whatever you
my
want to call
mother
it.
tongue would actually be something like French,
Okay.
because he was in France and his first language was French, even though he was Spanish.
Okay. This is
From a half
interesting.
and half French mother,
Okay. All right.
and married
Okay.
a Polish woman,
Oh.
just to confuse.
Just confuse things a tad. Just to confuse things a tiny bit there. Okay.
And
Okay.
if people would try to pin me down and say, "Oh, you're this, you're that," it's like
No.
I'd love to confuse them
No.
because
We're a bit of
I'm many
this.
things at the same time.
But here, there, and everywhere. It's fantastic to be there. I think it's magic. Magic. It's that means you've got a wide outlook on life. You understand that community, that tradition, that's cultivation, whatever you want to call it. There, Priya Lee says, "I'll just push the angry button. I know it's been such a long time. I think she pushed that by accident, but thank you very much. Thank you very much, Priya Lee. So there's an angry button out there somewhere. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, so there's a new moon this morning at 4 o'clock this morning. And it's the Leo new moon, isn't it? And
Yeah.
we've got the sun there, we've got Mercury in the middle of it, and this lovely energy is a bit of a wake up energy in some respects. Do you think it's a bit like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as lovely as it seems. I mean, it's a lovely energy because Sun, Mercury, Moon, and Leo. It's happy, it's joyful. It's like, oh, I want to be me. I want to be really me. I want to be creative. I want to do whatever I want. But it's doing a quincunx, which is a green long aspect, which
Yes.
is, I'll explain that, to the three judges, which are Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn. So
Yes.
Capricorn is everything, all the structures, social structures and mental structures. And Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn have been going on for a while there, especially Pluto, who went in there 2008, Saturn a couple of years ago, and Jupiter last year. So I think it was last year. Anyway, so they're trotting in, they're going over all the social and mental structures, and they're judging it and saying, okay, what about this? What about that? Are you still doing this and that? And so Jupiter's like putting up like a magnifying glass and saying, hey, look at this pattern. Can you see it? Is it obvious now? And then Pluto is saying it's like a grave digger who digs up the grave and says, oh, look, this is still here, and to see whatever is
Yes.
useful and whatever else has to be chucked away. And then Saturn is just like going over everything, and you go, okay, are you sure? Are you aware? Are you conscious of this, or do you still feel guilt and there's something left over? Just leave it. But Pluto tells Saturn to leave the guilt. It's not worth it. So these guys are kind of heavy there. So
Yeah.
then all that stuff going on in Leo, which is happy, you want to go to party and everything, and then all the Capricorn stuff is saying no. What do you mean by partying? What kind of partying? And so we see that like a restriction at every level. So we feel personal restrictions, we feel social restrictions, and we can blame it on anybody because we like to blame stuff because that's how we usually relate to life. We are not really incarnated as human beings. That's what we're just starting to learn to do. I know it sounds kind of weird, but the fact is we're actually relating to each other from a more subtle level, a more relationship level via our emotions. So
Mm.
because of that, what we do is we blame other people of whatever's happening to us, of whatever we're feeling, instead of actually feeling it. And by blaming it, we're actually creating a reality based on what we don't want, which is kind of cool because that way we have the experience. Well, we should have the experience, but we actually don't because we like to run away and say, no, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen again. I don't want to feel that. And it's like, sorry, if you don't have the experience, you're going to have a very hard event happen in your life. So that penetrates your hard ego skin to have the experience. So, have the experience and don't try to avoid life, please. Okay,
This
so
is
basically that's how it works.
so.
I still have more stuff to say.
This is brilliant. This is so relevant to so many people I've been talking to this week. who are going through these particular changes in their lives. And where do they put this stuff? It's so easy, isn't it? Just say, well, it's their fault. It's it's that situation, and you're blaming it on that situation there, rather than just, okay, this is here. I've got to address something. I've got to focus on something that's going and changing in my life. How do I deal with this here? Which is the best way to go? And to try and be honest, with yourselves here. And I think honesty doesn't mean to say here you've been lying to yourself and anything like this. I think it's just seeking the truth for when you're in your own heart, especially what Jupiter's up to, Saturn, Pluto. I mean, Pluto's digging out. I love that, always love that analogy there, where Pluto goes and digs in the ground, finds something and says, you forgot this, which mentally here we're thinking, it doesn't exist, it's underneath there and it's not going to show up. And Pluto says, oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. We have to address this.
Yeah, we're not going to leave anything behind that hasn't been like overlooked and everything. And then all that is the stuff in Capricorn is squaring Mars and Lilith in Aries. So Mars and Lilith in Aries are fed up of being closed up. It's like memories of being incarcerated, closed up, confined, and they can't take it anymore. So we're feeling this frustration of the social constrictions confining us. They're gonna confine us again. No, I want to be B. I want to be Leo. I want to do my own thing. So you can see how easy it is to project this outside and say, oh yeah, no, because of the COVID, we're gonna get locked up again, and all this is gonna happen. And then other people say, because the Illuminati are against us and they want to enslave us. And other people are saying, oh, because all the bad people who are not wearing masks, they're going to make us all die because of their fault. We're all going to die and blah, blah, blah. So everybody's blaming outside, and this is what you're not supposed to do. Okay? Yeah. You're supposed to just hold your own energy. Geez, guys, we have to ground ourselves. Yes. It's not about blaming. So the less you blame outside, the more you're holding yourself in your energy, and the closer you get to your heart. Simple as that.
Closer you get to your heart.
And whenever shit hits the fan, that's your shit coming out of your body. That's Pluto digging up the grave and saying, you want this? And it feels bad. You go, no, I don't. Thank you. Bye. And that's it. But you don't feed it. The more we feed the problem, the greater the problem gets. The more attention you pay to anything you don't like, the bigger it will get. As simple as that. And right now may I continue? Because we're about, soon it's going to be, the sun's going to go into Virgo. So Virgo is all about, it's like, what fractals are. It's like different planes that are mirrored to each other. Yes. So it's all about inhabiting the different planes. And that started already since last weekend when we had the portal. Was it last weekend? Yeah, we had. Yes. Was it?
Yes, it was last weekend. Yes. Yes, it was about the 8th. It's about the 8th, but I know on the 18th. So give it about 10 days. 10 days. So, yes. Yeah.
We have this portal, and what happens with that portal is basically that, like we can say, the veils between the worlds open up. What that means is that there are different planes of existence. So basically, we think we live in a 3D plane, and that's the only thing that exists, but we're actually living in a relationship emotional plane. So we're not even living in this plane. We're just creating this plane based on our guilt, as I said before. But then we're ignoring absolutely this plane, which is the cellular memory plane, which is all the deep emotions that are causing your relationship issues, which are then being projected onto the 3D plane and creating that reality. And there's another plane, which is the plane of spiritual plane, fantasy, imagination, multidimensional plane. So what you interpret from the relationship plane has nothing to do with the 3D plane, has nothing to, they are related, but normally we don't see it. For example, if something happens on a 3D plane, for example, the government says we have to wear masks. Yep. So that's objective. Government says we have to wear, it's compulsory to wear masks. That's it. There's no judgment there. So what's the relationship plane? Oh my God, our freedoms are going to be cut. We're going to go back to, I don't know, we're going to be enslaved, blah, blah, blah. So this is the relationship plane, blaming outside something that we are feeling. So I have fear of being enslaved and losing my freedom. And where does that fear come from? Does it come from this objective reality in the 3D plane? No. That objective reality in the 3D plane, you are actually creating from your cellular memories of being enslaved.
Yes, absolutely.
So you have memories of being enslaved, and that's coming up And that's going into your psyche. That's Pluto digging up the grave. And then instead of keeping it in, you're blaming it, putting the blame outside. That's Saturn putting the blame. Okay, and that's creating that reality. That's feeding into that reality. And I'll pose you a question so you see. So guys, think about it. Okay, since COVID started, what the fuck has, sorry about that. Hi, Eric.
You can say that. You can say that because it does generate that sort of emotion, doesn't it?
Yeah, happened to terrorism. There is no terrorism. COVID's the cure for terrorism. Why? Because we're not focused there. Where are we focused? On COVID. What are we creating? More COVID. That's it. So focus on what you want to create. And if there are fears that don't allow you to consciously and fully focus on what you want to create, then deal with those emotions. Just feel them, release them. But you have to feel them. You can't ignore them. You can't try to avoid it. You have to feel it. So when you do that, then you can start seeing from the fourth plane, which is the multidimensional or spiritual plane, where everything makes sense. Because right now, if you're going to try to make sense of life just by observing the 3D plane, you're screwed. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But it's not going to work. It's just not going to make any sense because things change from one moment to the other. Does this make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's being able to, and this is, I think, one of the ways I actually try to explain this as well is the spectrum of light. And how, and this got confirmed last night as well. Absolutely brilliant show last night with a guy called Andy, who's a spiritual farmer. And he was actually saying here, and I agree with this, that when you look at the spectrum of light from gamma radiation all the way down to lower levels of light, we can only see in a very small band. A human eyes are pretty crap, really, compared to what's out there. Where a bug, for example, will see in the infrared. And the spirit world are in that dimension of the infrared. In fact, you go into that world and that's where you start to see things. Hence, infrared cameras, like security cameras, can pick up things that our eyes can't see. But when you look at imagery, especially if you do things like paranormal investigations and areas like this, and you're going into the infrared, you can then start to see things that it's just like, what? That was there? And it just like went straight past me. No wonder I shivered at that point in time because something happened. Something happened. It's amazing. And and also here, a bug, 1,500 meters away, over 1.5 kilometers away, picks up a plant that is exuding too much nitrogen, like it's glowing in like a red ultraviolet, in a red coloured light, and a bug can see it and go straight for it to attack your plant because we're putting too much nitrogen in the soil. So that's interesting. And I think here, where we are in our consciousness here, we're only looking on this very narrow band of light when we need to be in these, understand these different levels. And to work, sometimes we have got to work backwards to what I love in psychotherapy and counselling is the inner child. The inner child knows us, but I've been hurt all this time. But on the outside, we're defensive. Look at me now, I've got super big muscles. But on the inside, but I'm still hurt. We're not talking about the stuff. We put this protective shell around us to make us look strong. And really, it's not working. It doesn't work like that.
No. And that's the male version. The female version is, I want to keep everybody happy. I want to control. I want to keep everybody happy. I want to control. Same thing, though. Yes.
And it's interesting when we're always talking about the moon's nose from Cancer, which a lot of us were born into, and that fear of pain, that fear of rejection, that fear of hate and those emotions there. Yes, they're quite interesting there. Charlie Bear says, any messages for me, please? Charlie, what we need you to do on the Wednesday show is to write in before the show. If we get a chance to do yours, we will do. But we need your date of birth, we need a favourite colour, and we need a question. But if we get a chance to do that, we will do. But just so you know, on the Wednesday show, please message in beforehand. You are both so right. Thank you, Elodie. Thank you very much. Yes. So we look at these, and so as we go through this month, we start coming up into September, and then we start going, actually not before September. We start going into Virgo. We then start to pick up this multi-dimensional layer, and that's where we're going to start. Do you think is the time then that we actually start processing this and start being able to see it, if we choose to?
Yes. Helen says it's a bit over my head. Yes, it is. But that's the whole point of it. So don't try to understand it with the logical mind, try to feel it, try to connect with it, try to like just let yourself absorb the concepts I'm saying, because I just have the ability to put these things into words, but they're actually concepts that are very abstract, and the mind can't really get around it unless you develop your neural synapses a lot, which you can do through hand dexterity. So like if you do macrame or embroidery or anything like very detailed with your hands, or play some instrument, then your neural networks can be more complex and it'll be easier to consciously grasp those concepts. Otherwise, it's best just to feel them. Okay? And you really don't need
carry on. I'm just fascinated by this.
Yeah, you really don't need to understand mentally what's going on. Just it has to resonate in you. And then you just intend for the information to go in, and that's it. It's like, oh, wow, that sounds good. I like it. And that's it. That's going to allow the information to operate inside you. So it's when we're operating in those levels, in those other planes that are beyond the 3D and the relationship level. So when we're talking about the cellular memory level or the spiritual level, then it's more difficult to grasp with the mind, because there's a lot of it's easier to grasp with symbols, for example. So because we're astrologers and do numerology and tarot and all that stuff, so it's easier for the mind to use a symbolic language. It's like being like me. I speak 2 languages fluently. So my English is as good as my Spanish. I think in English when I speak in English. I am Spanish, as I said before. So it's my mother tongue. I speak a little bit better than the English. But this allows me, plus I know another couple languages, that not that well, but I can jump from one language to another. So by knowing many languages, I'm fluid in understanding people, because my mind can jump around. It's not fixed to one kind of literary structure. My mind isn't fixed because of that. Well, the same thing happens with symbols. When you learn symbolism, as in astrology, as in tarot, as in numerology and all that, your mind starts getting more and more flexible, and it's easier to jump from one thing to another and to relate different symbols. So that's what makes it easier to grasp those other dimensions that otherwise you wouldn't. So if you haven't developed that mind, then all you can do is just feel it and sense it as something that resonates with you or not.
This is brilliant. I love this stuff here, because I think music is a big thing about whether, if you can't do languages, do music or do something which is creative in your mind, to open up the synapses, to start linking with different vibrations, because those vibrations will lift your energy anyway. Music is the language we all understand. It's the international language of communication. Is also learning to read music as well, because just like symbology, just like astrology, just like all those things there, is relating to that language that we hear. I think it's absolutely fascinating. And when we develop skills like that. Yes.
And playing an instrument, like I used to play the piano.
Yes.
So that makes you have to translate the letters into each of the hands, and each of the hands have to work at the same time. So all this is just developing all your neural connections. Also imagery, like photography or like painting, because that's also going to help develop the imaginative mind, and it's going to help convey and connect with ideas and emotions that are beyond the word. So the word is very limited.
It is. I think the feeling is so much stronger, the inspiration. And Kerry says music is a massive therapy. It certainly is. A lot of people use that in their therapy sessions, for example, just quiet music playing in the background. Often I love studying with quiet music. A lot of people, when they're doing a decorating, need music on or something like this. It just keeps you going. There's something that just keeps your mood light. It's wonderful, and things like this. It's lovely.
Music expands you and it lifts you. But the thing is, what Virgo is about, which is Sun will go into Virgo soon, and what I said before about the planes and what's everything that's being opened up since the Lionsgate. It's all about integrating the planes. So to integrate the planes, we have to be grounded. It's not only about lifting; it's also about grounding, right? So it's nice to lift because your body expands and your aches don't hurt as much and you feel uplifted. But all of that has to come down into the three-dimensional reality. Yes. Because if not, if we just cultivate the multidimensional reality, we can leave the planet. It's very easy. No, seriously, it's very easy to leave the planet. And many people have, for example, Janis Joplin, Prince, all these, the guy from the Doors, you know, all these, we can see it through the famous singers, even Michael Jackson. So if you develop this fantasy plane too much and you're not grounded, you're not going to be able to hold on this reality. So then people from the 3D perspective, relationship 3D perspective, oh yeah, blame. He killed himself, whatever. And no, that's not what happened. There was an imbalance between the grounding and in the case of singers, you can see like the projection they have amongst so many people. Because they reach millions and millions of people. Basically, they are channeling information from all those millions of people, and they need a lot of grounding to be able to sustain that. And when singers are so young, it's in the Capricorn return comes, which says Capricorn returns when you're 29. It says be grounded.
Yeah.
And Winehouse, they can't deal with it.
No.
It's too much.
No, I totally agree. There's a great perception, a great way of putting it, is not being grounded. You're far too disconnected from the grounding plane. Is why so many people actually transcend into that energy when they go and take their lives, or however you want to call it, how you want to express it like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so sometimes people, like in spiritual circles, they go, oh, I've heard in some places, you know, I want to transcend. I want to, you know, we're all one and all that stuff. And you can sort of sustain that in a big group.
Yeah.
But I seriously think it's much more healthy to ground yourself.
Yes.
Like
I think sports. So too. I think it's important that we, during this particular time, when we learn to ground ourselves, this particular energy we've gone through the Lion's Gate has thrown people absolutely sideways. People we know ourselves here. One particular guy, lovely Eric, who took his life. Yes, it's just it knocks you sideways. And you've got to reground yourselves, because the effect of, okay, that person's taken their life, but it's the effect of it has on people. You then got to reground yourself to understand what you always think you hear why do they do this, but it's also that's in you, that's your experience, and we've got to ground ourselves to say here, okay, that's him, this is me. I've got to realign myself and reground yourself here to create the understanding of being on the earth plane.
Exactly. And grounding is all about doing sports, being healthy. Like I just came from the gym, hence my wet hair.
She's lying. She just went in the shower. It's just it. And she jumped to conclusions. That's very physical. That's a good workout.
Literally. Doing exercise, also eating and drinking. This sounds bizarre, but this past week I have encountered a lot of people. You can say, oh, it's the heat. Oh, it's I'm alone at home and I don't feel like cooking. Oh, it's this, it's that. So for many different reasons, I've seen a lot of people this past week who have not drank. I see them in sessions mainly, right? So I ask these questions more in depth. They don't drink, they forget to drink, they don't eat. There's a lot of people forgetting to eat or not eating properly or saying, oh, it's too hot to just have some fruit. And it's like, no, guys, the energies are strong. Ground yourself, eat well. And I've got the perfect recipe. Have you heard of poke bowls? Poke bowls are, you have a base of rice or quinoa.
Yep.
And then you can put it whatever you want. You can put beans, you can put tomato, you can put carrot, you can put beetroot, you can put, I don't know, algae.
Beetroot. We love beetroot on this show.
Fruits. Yeah. You can put fruits in, you can put radish, anything you want. You can put in the poke bowl. And then you just make your own little sauce. Be creative. But it's a whole complete meal, and it's a grounding meal.
Yeah.
And it's mostly raw, except for the rice or the quinoa. So that's also very healthy.
Fantastic,
okay.
Fantastic. Right, okay. Susanna says, designing soap is a therapy. Absolutely. Designing your soap there. Soap. And Petra says, funny fact, if you slow down the noise crickets make, you get a perfect chant like those Georgian ones or classic music songs. Nature's just perfect for those who want to hear it. Absolutely, Petra. We love that. I must admit, I do love that noise. You can hear it, and you actually get their own little symphony, like they're communicating and talk. Well, they are communicating with each other. I think it's absolutely fantastic. That's a lovely way.
I've heard it. It's in, you can Google it. It's like chanting crickets, and it sounds like a choir. It's very beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
When they slow it down, it sounds like angels singing. It's really incredible.
Wow, fantastic. I just like hearing them anyway when they start their noise anyway.
Talking about noises, this also brings to my attention because of the Virgo season coming soon. Anybody, I mean, not that most viewers would know, but the relationship between Lilith Virgo, Lilith Chiron, Lilith sixth house, it's a lot, or any Virgo on steroids, which is like a stellium on Virgo, lots of Virgo in the chart. It's a lot about learning to be present. So in these cases, you're going to get a lot of external distractions. So you actually put your attention inwards.
Okay.
And the key is to accept that life is showing you where to put your attention. So now in summer that we get a lot of noise, I don't care if you have this aspect or not. If you relate to what I'm saying, if noise bothers you, especially here in this area where it gets like really, really busy and noisy, just thank it. This is also, you can apply this to anything in life, really. Just thank it for being there, because it's showing you the way inward. Okay, so if you're surrounded by noise, instead of putting the blame outward, and as I said, you can use this for anything you want, because we always blame it. Oh, look at this is bothering, look at that, that's wrong, this wrong. No, instead of putting the blame outwards, look inwards and give thanks to whatever is outwards, because it's showing you to put your gaze inwards.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Okay, let's do a bit of this, and then it's time for some live mini readings. Okay, right. I think it's time. Hang on. Kerry just says here, around the Lions Gate, I've been hearing like an electrical sound, wave noise in the silence. It was driving me mad. Nobody else could hear it. It was like being tuned into something. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that totally, Kerry. And I think that there's an energy around at the moment that is very different to what we've experienced for a good part of this year. And I think that if you've got that energy there, sometimes I often say to people, listen to beyond that noise, because something is there. Something's telling you something. Mm.
Yeah, but the thing is, I would first say listen inside, because it's very easy for us to get distracted, especially women, to get distracted outside. You guys have it easier for concentrating. We don't. We get distracted very easily. So if we focus on beyond and going further, then we're leaving ourselves, and it's really, really going very much inside you and connecting with you deeply. Otherwise,
okay, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I had like for the last 2 years a garage door that would open with a lot of noise in front of my house, and it was like every summer, every 5 minutes, the garage door opens and closes. I don't hear it anymore.
That's yes. When I used to be on a submarine, there used to be a lot of noises there by carbon filter fans. There was oxygen generators. There was, but after a while, you just shut the noise out. You even forget it's there. But it is very noisy on a submarine down deep, and you actually go to sleep next to these things, and you just don't even know it's. You just forget about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just zone out.
Yeah. Okay, Eleni. Now, Eleni.
Ringing in the ears.
Yes.
Ringing in the ears too. It's the same thing. So it's about zoning out of it by going more inward.
Okay.
That's what it's inviting you to do, the ringing of the ears. Because if we go, oh, ringing of the ears, maybe it's messages from above, and you start looking, what are they trying to tell me? But then your concentration is outwards. So whatever anybody's going to try to tell you from any dimension, it's all about going inwards, not going outwards. And you're not going to probably know. It's not going to be like somebody saying, hello, how are you? No, it's just information that drops and suddenly you realize. So the more inward you are.
I've never met a spirit that does that. Hello, how are you? That's brilliant, though.
When the voice appears, they're very blunt.
Yes.
And they're kind of rude. They're not
Absolutely.
They're very straightforward. They're like, geez, don't you see what you're doing? They talk almost in riddles, and they're kind of rude. They're kind of very straightforward.
Very
And they
blunt.
get you into a mess, and then many times they get you into a mess because you have to go through the experience.
Yes.
It's really,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
But now it's interesting about ringing the ears because I would say here that many years I was told I have tinnitus, but it's a definite wave of up and down tones. Okay, okay, but I still think there's something there that says when you. I agree with what you say, Guillermo, about the when you get that ringing in your ears. I then
I
say to
have it.
people, yes, is then when it stops, listen within yourself because the message comes into you. The message comes in for you to digest it inwards. I know what you're saying
Yeah,
here. I don't mean to say it's like external. No, the message comes into you, and that's the feeling you take in with that.
yeah.
Okay,
And then you
right.
have to get into movement. You have to move and do stuff for that message to come out.
Very
So it
true.
doesn't go through your brain. It doesn't go through your mind. It goes through your heart.
Yes.
So as you move, for example, as you teach, as you talk, as you write, then the message comes out, and you don't recognize it as such. So really, it's not the ego doesn't get much of a kick out of this.
I know. It doesn't, does it? I agree with you. In fact, I find it easier when I'm actually standing up and walking around giving messages rather than sat down. Because as soon as my physical body is motivating, I'm walking around, vroom, it all starts flying in. Sat
Because the
still,
energy has to flow.
yes, yes. Little do you realise my feet are bouncing up and down as all the messages are coming through. It
I'm
just
sitting
keeps a
on a
physical.
ball. Sitting on a ball.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, Eleni. Now, Eleni, you wrote in. You said here, what does it mean to kiss the moon? To kiss the moon. Well, it's the new moon, but not quite the new moon. It's when the moon starts to come up to its first quarter, and it's in a sense here it's an old wives' tale. But my grandmother used to do this, and she always said here, whenever the new moon comes out, you go outside. You don't look at it through a window. You make sure, even if you see it through a window, you then go outside of your house. If it's raining, but if it's raining, you can't see the moon. But no, but if you can see the first quarter there, and then blow a kiss to the moon and make a wish because it's a new energy cycle of the moon. That's what we mean kissing the moon. Yes. So you don't do it directly on a new moon because you can't see it. You have to wait till it comes out to its first quarter and the energy of the moon is building. And I've Gary says, I've seen you bouncing. Oh dear, oh dear. And so does amount of people do this bouncing stuff. I love keeping moving. My feet are often going to keep the energy, or like I feel I can then get the energy flowing. It's fun. Okay, I have ringing in my ears too. That's you, Guillermo. Right. Okay, Eleni, let's come back to you. Okay. She writes in, she says here, dream house on hold. Will this happen? Should I forget it? Interesting here. Now, first of all, I'd like to say in the numerology, you're 279. 279's here. Now, the 7 here is like, I want to go back into my cave and think about this. What we get influenced by here is by your own thoughts. And you think, yes, I think I know what I want to do. Then you have your 2, which is a connection with other people. And maybe they have a different opinion to you. So then that throws you thinking, well, hang on a minute, I had this opinion which I thought for myself, and then other people are telling me differently. Now that's confusing. Maybe I need to go back to my cave again. I'll go back to the cave again and think, now I've had my own mind made up here, and all of a sudden they've thrown me the other way. Now what do I do? Now what to do? Now this is confusing. However, we've come into, this works out as 279. And sometimes here, this is the greatest number I'd say here for sacrifice. But is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's like endings and beginnings. Endings and beginnings, which is the 9 here, but I often pick this up as like a sacrifice in some respects. And this is here, if you have a dream that you want to, and you say here, dream house, that's what starts off your conversation, dream house. Should I put this on hold? Which way should I go with this? This is the interesting thing. If this is a dream, why would you want to let go of a dream for? Because you're now coming into an 8 energy this year. Well, you are in an 8 energy this year, which is about power. It's about, hang on a minute, I know what I want. I know what I want to do. You also have here, you have 3 to do with your first numbers here, which is about communication and whipping up energy here. And you have a 10 with the month that you're born in, which is a very karmic energy because of the 0 in this. You've got drive. You've got drive. You've got energy. Who are you listening to? Yourself or to other people? Guillermo.
Yeah. So Ellen is Libra. By the way, Phil, when you say coming into this year, the numerological year starts in September, right?
Yes.
Yeah, keep
Yes.
that in mind.
Yes.
So the year start beginning from September. Okay,
Yes.
so you're Libra, Eleni. Your North Node is in Libra too, and it's opposing. The North Node is opposing. Yes. Wait a minute. 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 22. The Sun and the North Node are opposing Lilith in Aries. Lilith is in Aries, like it is now. So it's a lot about I want to be free. I don't want to be tied in. And then Libra, allegedly, it's all about I want harmony. I want to get along. But the fact is that the person you're discussing with is inside your head, because Libra has like two guys, two persons, or two personalities, like an invisible friend, I like to call it. The truth is, many Libras have invisible friends when they're young, inside their head, who has a different opinion. So the more these two are arguing inside your head and telling each other off, like one, oh no, yeah, let's go for the dream house because I really want. Then the other one says, you have no idea that you're not going to get your dream because you don't deserve it, blah, blah, blah. And again, you can't dream, you can't do that. And then what's going to happen? That when Libra comes out into the world and wants to relate with people, they're like, it's like, guys, be quiet, be quiet. I want to see somebody. Hi, how are you? So they're really nice and, very lovely and joyful and on the outside because they're trying to keep these two quiet.
Yes.
It's like, hi, how are you? But what's happening is that the more they quiet those two, the more one of them is projected outside. So if they want to be nice, then the other one's going to go, you got no idea, you can't dream. And they're always going to face people which are telling them off. So it's like, okay, whatever you want. So it's like they're not really coming to terms with themselves. They're basically fighting without fighting. It's like so they're in a fight all the time, in essence. So the key, I know it sounds crazy, but it's not. It's normal. Okay. So the key for Libra is to actually go into your mind and have your nice personality talk to your strict personality and say, what happened? What do you want? What do you need? Because that strict personality is a part of you, is a fragment of you that had to mature too young, had to be responsible too young. And because of that, you stop playing. And then Libra wants to play, but they don't dare to play because this part is there. So basically, playing also is related to desire and to dreams. So to be able to desire and have dreams and materialize your dreams, you have to come to terms with that aspect of yourself who had to stop being a child very young. Okay, so it's all about that. And when you do that, then you're going to be in harmony with you. And then you're going to be able to convey what you wish with the other person. And you're going to be able to negotiate. Because it's about negotiating. I imagine you're going to live in that house with somebody. It's most probable. So if you're going to live in that house with somebody, it's not your decision. It's a shared dream. And you have to make it a shared dream. So I think it's all about that.
Yes. She also says here the architect is not listening to what we want. Well, get rid of your architect. Get an architect who does understand what you want. Yes. But
the architect is that strict aspect. I mean, architecture, it's very Saturn Cancer. It's very, squared and that's your inner aspect which you are projecting outside on top of the architect. That's why he's not listening, because you're not listening to this aspect of yourself. So listen to that, sit down, meditate, and ask that aspect of yourself, that fragment of you, that inner child that had to be mature too young. What do you need? What do you want? Why are you scared? What were your dreams when you were a child?
That's very, very, very interesting. And there is a way out of this, Eleni, and you'll find it because you've got the Two of Swords here reversed. I love this card because it's escape from this dogma that you've been through, this restriction. This is the second architect. So by case, this really is playing out. This really is playing out with you. Would you understand that you need, exactly as Guillermo is saying here, is to go within yourself to find a balance in you, to then be able to find out exactly what the architect is trying to explain to you and why he's saying this.
Sorry? And negotiate.
Negotiate. Yes. Because once you start,
because if you come from a space where you're retaining yourself because you're trying to quiet one of the aspects of yourself, there's no way that you can negotiate. There's no way you can communicate what your needs are, and there's no way you can listen to what is possible from the architect.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that's so there you go. Hopefully that helps you out there. And I also think here is you're taking this as like you're the problem. You're not the problem. You're the one who can communicate to understand exactly what is going on. And for them to be able to come back to you and you understand what they're saying to you. And then you'll find your way forwards. Your way forwards
Eleni,
is brilliant.
it's not about the other person. Remember what I said before. If we put the blame on the outside, then we're not making ourselves responsible for our experience. So don't think it's about the architect or the expenses or anything. It's about your inner dialogue. So
Yes.
when you come to terms with that, the external reality will change. I invite
Yes.
you to try it.
I think so too. Even if you take on, get someone there who relates somewhere in the middle that you can understand, who understands you, understands the architects, you get a better communication. But it's to support you, not to go against you. That's the big point here. Okay.
Yeah, it's negotiating.
Yes, absolutely. Susanna,
Libra
good.
has,
Oh,
Libra doesn't like a conflict, so they're scared to negotiate. And a negotiation is just like really understanding where I am, where I stand from, who you are, what you need, what you want, what you have, and where you stand from. So
mm-hmm.
it's all about coming and forth. Well, I would like a bathroom with 2 sinks, and then the architect says no, and Libra would go. But there's always this tension. So it's about saying, okay, then what is possible? Well, this and this is possible, or why not? Why is it not possible? And then the architect says something, then you go, oh, okay, so then maybe this is possible. And then the architect says yes, no. And the architect maybe gets creative and starts putting forward more solutions that are more akin to what you feel like. But because you're not scared of dialoguing, because you're not expecting this strict judge inside your mind.
Yes. I can totally relate to that and understand that sometimes, Eleni, that when we get someone like an official capacity like this in any department here, really, and they're not in agreement with you, you can immediately take this as great offence and it just puts a wall up. Which is what you're doing, rather than actually coming over the wall and say, hey, this is what we like to do. This way, and let's come up with ideas, the way we can spring around this, and it's your way forward, I think.
Yeah.
Susanna. Now, Susanna is a very interesting, fascinating lady. She's absolutely brilliant. And she's, as you go on to the Cafe Clairvoyance group, you'll see some soaps that Susanna's made. And she's actually put cups inside them. And these are the Cafe Clairvoyance soaps. She is so creative, a wonderful, wonderful lady. And she's very spiritual herself. And we always love her being on the show. And she says that... Right, okay, she wants to launch her business next year called the Butterfly Centre in 2021. And Susanna is making preparations. Is she on the right track? It's interesting here because you're a personal year 5 this year, which makes it very restless. So your energy is like zzz, all over the place here. And it doesn't help really with COVID and things like this and other areas of restriction in our lives at the moment. So it's a bit jangly, a bit here, there and everywhere. And yes, she also says here, Susanna, from the producer, says here that Susanna makes a whole range of organic products. She does an absolutely incredible lady. And yes, there she is with her little chief. There you go, a little chief. Anyway, this tiny little chief. Anyway, still a chief. Anyway, so she wants to know if 2021 is the best year to go and do this. Well, then you go into personal year 6, and that really is a better year for the business side of things because 6 is always good with creating energy for business, family, getting something which is more established in that way. I feel as well here, looking at this with your 10-1. The 1 here is you standing alone. And in one sense here, I would say here, yes, it's probably good for you to stand alone. On another sense here, with your karmic 0, there's a whole lot of weight that you tend to carry on your shoulders. And this weight you carry on your shoulders is sometimes we need to disperse this a little bit to have people not who take ideas away from you, but to be underneath you, to lift you and support you. They don't support you to take it where it is you want to go and go. That energy then will work with you terrifically, and you'll find next year will be far easier. And also here, once you're on the pathway to do this, your energy is quite excitable sometimes here. And it's once it starts, you've got to keep it moving. It's a bit like if you want to go on a destination. Great, I've got a Ferrari. Let's jump in a Ferrari. And you go in first gear, but then you forget to change into second, third and fourth. You're not going to get very far. You're going to go, well, it's a great car, but you're not focusing on the where you're going to, the goal you've got to get. That's where the big part here is. And I think sometimes, as I'm working with a lot of people recently who want to have success in their lives, they're far too focused on the emotions which are not taken them where they want to go, rather than actually looking at the goal and developing the emotions, say, that's where I want to be.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, good. We're in agreement.
Yeah, because I mean, Susanna has sun. She's a sun in Sagittarius.
Yep.
So it's all about, oh, I got the idea. Yeah, I can see it. It's all going to work out. And then it's moon in Aries, very reactive. Let's do it, move it. That's great. And then there's a Neptune almost conjunct Mercury, which is very imaginative too, even though it's in Scorpio, but it's very imaginative. But North Node is in Virgo, which means South Node is in Pisces, which basically means it's very easy to procrastinate, to get lost in the ideas, and very difficult to bring everything down into reality. So it's very important. Also, you have Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter in Capricorn saying, okay, you got to learn that things take time, that you really have to get into the core essence of things and work on things, and poco a poco, like we say here. Pluto and Virgo also inviting you to really concentrate on doing things well, little by little. For something to actually work out, and you need to develop a very solid base, and that solid base takes a long time to develop. So it's very important to, sometimes we think, oh, but I've been working on it a long time, but you haven't been working on it a long time because you've just been doing a lot of things. And it's not about doing a lot of things. It's not about putting a lot of soulless work out there. It's about being very present in every single little thing you do, and being very patient and just doing things little by little. And today I do this, and next month I achieve this goal, and the next month I achieve that goal. And it's the very mindful and purpose work with a lot of concentration and a lot of patience is what is always needed in these cases. Okay, because it's very easy to just disperse. There's a lot of connection with emotion, with cellular memories, because your moon's in Cancer, and interesting. There's also a moon with Saturn, so that's always gonna, like, you have this idea of what success is about, but you come from a family where people have not actually done what they want to do in life, so it's easier for you to get in this dynamic of success should be this and this way, instead of actually connecting with the more organic flow of how your work or your project should be like.
That's absolutely brilliant. I think it's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And actually drawing your cards out here as well, Susanna, I think it's a big thing around you, perhaps, if you'd understand this, is you have these fantastic ideas, but we get overexcited by them, but then nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's a bit like this Ferrari. Fantastic, look what I got to get me to where I'm going to. But you've got to work it. You've got to look after it. You've got to nurture this to get on your journey. You've got to change the oil every year. You've got to make sure the spark plugs. You've got to make sure the car's clean. You've got to make sure the tyres are okay, not going to go bald. But if you work on it this way, you then get the Empress, which is like success. What you're worried about is money, wherever it's money. But what you're doing and what you're developing, it doesn't take a lot of money. I'm not telling you this as a business product. I'm telling you this as the energy is coming through here. You'll be focusing on the wrong ways if you're just thinking about money. And it's sometimes here I'd actually look at perhaps having someone around you who's like a little bit of a coach, who says, what have you done today? We've done today that's going to make your goal a bit closer. What have you done which has motivates you to get a bit, to feel the reality of this and to talk about the reality? And someone who could just, whoa, just bring that excitement down. That's put that into doing something or where it's going to go. That's, yes. So hopefully, Susanna, that helps you out. But it's lovely talking to you as we do. Okay. Right. Good morning, Evita. Good morning, Evita, up there in Scotland. Up there in Scotland. She's asking this morning. She's... Okay, 279 in numerology. Career, soul purpose. Is something going to happen this year, or should I wait? Career, soul purpose. So we're looking at career as in like a normal career, soul purpose, where are we going? Uh, we're in we're a life path of 9, personal year 4, which is very interesting in this because I like 4s, and sometimes 4s are they get taken advantage of sometimes here because they're the structure and the base to life. It's almost like here. To grow a flower, you've got to put a bulb in the ground, and the bulb in the ground sometimes is the 4. Before you build a house, you've got to have a foundation. The foundation is a 4. To start off with a plan, you've got to have a structure. Structure is the 4. So in some respects, it's like, okay, this is a bit heavy going. This is a bit serious in many respects. But actually, it could work in your favor. It works in your favor if you project this and start building on something. However, this year is very interesting, but I would say that next year you come into a 5, which is more spiritual energy in that respect, which I think is absolutely fabulous. But that's what I'd say so far, just looking at this. And your life path is 9. So you're a soul person anyway. I'm a soul woman. There was a soul man, but there's a soul woman. And so that energy there is just, it's there. It's there for a soul purpose there. Now, let's go and have a chat with Guillermo and see what you'd like to say.
Yeah. So, hi, Evita. Your sun is in Pisces. So, Pisces, like, wow, we've got a lot of very sensitive, very spiritual. Also, Jupiter, Moon, Lilith is in Sag, Neptune in Sag. So, very connected spiritually. But Lilith is also with the Sun and Mars, which is like pressure. It's a feeling of pressure. And the South Node is in Capricorn, which is all about, I have to do things in life. I have to work. I have to achieve. I have a goal. I have to be professional. I have to have life mission. I have to. And North Node in Cancer says, drop it, stop it. This overachieving issue, this inertia to go and get things done, and which is fueled by this pressure inside you. It's not about that. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about nurturing yourself, and only that way will you be able to align with whatever is your mission, but not by forcing it or feeling that you have to achieve it and all that. That what you have to do there is address why are you not bringing yourself out? Because it's not about doing a certain thing. It's about expressing who you are from the inside. So what can you do to be more creative and to connect more with yourself? What can you do? Like, being creative is anything, but it's just getting into a habit of bringing something from within. So it can be writing, it can be painting, it could be drawing, it could be photography, it could be anything. But that's going to stimulate bringing out from within, which is what you need to be able to align to whatever your mission is. We all have a mission. We have to align with it. It's not about going after it. It's about aligning with it and resonating with it.
Fascinating. I just draw your cards here. I'm going to go for the right on this. The right of this here. I think Evita has got that energy there to, if she goes on the creative side, away from this structural side, always being the responsible and always being practical for everybody else, and actually focus on the creative side to bring this out, then I think there's terrific energy to come ahead. But it's just different, isn't it? Because sometimes you're so used to being there, the structure of other people, and being in that way there, yet we have to run away to go and find this. Hang on a minute, but there's something in me that's crying to come out. But sometimes we could feel awful, we could feel conflicted, or we could feel unsettled that there's this harmony of love and compassion and art and music and things that wants to come out, or even spirituality that hasn't been given a chance to, because we're so responsible. Yes, we're so, yes, oh my goodness, yes, it's showing me here that, basically here, it's about change. It's about focusing on change, because otherwise here, it's always like, I'm just thinking of the poet, but a lovely American poet who said at the start of the 19th century, he said, in 10 years' time, you'll never look back about what you did and what you achieved. You always look back about what you wish you'd done. And I think that's the important part here, is to make the change. I'm going to do this. This is me. This is my purpose. Otherwise here, I looks like I've got a lovely life. It looks like everything looks hunky-dory, but we're not bringing out these flowers, these wonderments, these energies around us that make things look absolutely terrific. But yes, so hopefully there, Evita, that helps you out. Right, we're almost coming to the end. And as I say here, if anybody would like a reading, I know we had lovely another lady here just going back to her. Yes, Charlie Bear. If you would like a reading for next week's show or Sunday's show, even Tuesday's show next week, then please write in before the show starts with your birth details, and then we can help you out. But Evita, hopefully you enjoyed that. Guillermo, anything to end on the show? Anything you'd like to say for the week ahead for people?
For the week ahead, get yourself in order, I guess.
Get yourself in order. How's that?
Yeah, it's try and make an effort every time something in the outside bothers you or anything. Just go inside. Just say, okay, this is life giving me this, so I can remember and reflect that I have to connect with myself.
Okay.
And be patient, guys. It's still not time for full action. Just grounding, connect with your body, do sports, move your energy. But stuff will start happening by the end of the year, not now. We're still in that strange mode that we want things, but we don't know what we want. And something's going to happen, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Be patient. Be patient. Patience is grounding.
Patience is the grounding one. Brilliant. And Evita says, I did. Thank you. That's what it's all about, is bringing out those lovely energies there. It's interesting. Just look at your cards there, listening to the astrology. And I think you've got that that wonderful personality to bring that out there, and you'll shine. Yeah. Absolutely shine. Good. Okay. Guillermo, thank you very, very much indeed for joining me this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure as normal, as usual. Not normal, as usual. And yes, and yeah, we've got, we'll pop in again next week. And yep. Yes, that'd be absolutely fabulous.
This is from Andorra.
Sorry?
From Andorra.
From Andorra. You're going to be in Andorra, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just go off to Andorra. That's it. You'll just leave us down here in Spain, UK, whatever. Andorra. I've never been there. It's interesting. It's up in the mountains, isn't it?
Yeah, Pyrenees.
Pyrenees, yes. Yeah. Yes, it's a tiny little community up there, isn't it? Yes. You have to take some pictures and show us back there and tell us what you're doing. Even do a little mini live, or we'll put you live on the show. That'd be great. Yeah. Good. Okay. Love everybody. Sorry?
Thank you, Deborah.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Phil, and thank you, Deborah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you guys out there. Thank you very much. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you to Deborah, the producer of the show, and thank you to you guys and everybody who joined in this morning. And lovely to see you. And yes, next week on Tuesday, we've got a spiritual guest with Jamuna Javina Das. You're gonna like that. You're gonna like that. It's going to be an absolutely bonkers show, and all bars are off on that one. Anyway, here we go. So you guys take care. Have a lovely week, and I'll see you Sunday.
Bye.